I thanked God the day my husband left me. Not that day, not for months, but I thank him now. 4 years ago, Tom handed me divorce papers on Christmas morning and walked out to be with a woman younger than our daughter. I didn't know I was about to meet the love of my life. And no, it's not another man. My name is Linda. I'm 67 years old, and this is how God saved me. I was 63 years old that Christmas morning. The kitchen smelled like butter and cinnamon. Bing Crosby was singing White Christmas on the radio. Snow was falling outside the window, the kind of picture-perfect Christmas morning you see on Hallmark cards. I was rolling out dough for our family's traditional Christmas breakfast. My granddaughter Emma was coming at noon with my daughter Jessica and her husband Marcus. The turkey was thawing in the fridge. Presents were wrapped under the tree that Tom and I had decorated together 2 weeks ago, just like we had every year since 1982. 38 years of Christmas mornings. This one would be different. I heard Tom's footsteps on the stairs. He was up early, unusual for a holiday. He'd retired at 65, and he usually slept in now. "Morning, honey," I said, without turning around. "Coffee's ready. The cinnamon rolls will be done in—" "Linda, we need to talk." Something in his voice made me stop mid-roll. I turned around. He was dressed, fully dressed, slacks, button-down shirt, even cologne, on Christmas morning at 7:30 a.m., and he was holding a manila envelope. "Tom? What's going on? Why are you so dressed up?" He didn't meet my eyes, just placed the envelope on the counter between us, right next to the rolling pin dusted with flour. "I'm filing for divorce." The words didn't make sense, like he'd spoken a foreign language. "What?" "I want a divorce, Linda." My lawyer drew up the papers. "I need you to read through them." I looked at the envelope, then at him, then at the cinnamon rolls still waiting to be cut. "Tom, it's Christmas morning." "I know. I've been planning this. You can stay in the house until the divorce is finalized. Probably 60 to 90 days. That should give you time to figure things out. 60 to 90 days, like he was giving me a generous severance package. My hands were shaking. Flour dusted onto the papers as I opened the envelope. Legal terms swam before my eyes. Irreconcilable differences, division of assets, petitioner and respondent. "I don't understand. Are you serious? Is this some kind of joke?" He finally looked at me. No warmth, no regret, just done. "The lawyer will handle everything. I'm staying with a friend for now. I'll come by next week to get some of my things." "Why?" My voice cracked. "Why are you doing this?" He picked up his car keys from the counter. "I'm spending Christmas with someone else. Someone who—" He stopped himself. "Someone who what, Tom?" "Someone who makes me happy." The air left my lungs. "I'll be back Tuesday to get some of my things. You should probably tell Jessica and Marcus before they show up today." And then he left, just like that, and walked out the door, started his car, drove away. I stood in my kitchen, the kitchen where I'd made thousands of meals, packed thousands of lunches, baked birthday cakes for 2 children and 3 grandchildren, holding divorce papers. The cinnamon rolls were ready to go in the oven. I turned off the oven instead. I don't remember sitting down, but suddenly I was on the floor, back against the cabinet, phone in my hand. Jessica answered on the second ring. "Mom! Merry Christmas, we're just finishing breakfast and then— Your father is leaving me." Silence. "He gave me divorce papers this morning." "There's someone else." I heard her gasp. Muffled voices. She was telling Marcus. "Mom, that's not possible. We just had Thanksgiving together. You seemed fine." "I thought we were fine too." "Where is he?" "He left to spend Christmas with her." My daughter started crying. "We're coming over right now." Marcus is getting Emma dressed. "No, stay home. It's Emma's Christmas. She's 7 years old. Don't let him ruin her day too." "But Mom, I mean it. I'll be okay." It was a lie. After we hung up, I sent one text to the family group chat. "Christmas is canceled. Tom and I are separating. I'm so sorry, Mom." I turned my phone face down. The Christmas tree lights blinked in the living room. Bing Crosby was still singing. My marriage of 38 years was over. I don't know how long I sat there before the rage hit. Someone else. He'd said someone else. His laptop was still on the kitchen counter. He'd left it behind. I opened it. No password. I was his wife, after all. His email was open, and there it was, everything. Her name was Vanessa Chen. She worked in his office. The emails went back 2 years. 2 years of I can't stop thinking about you. And last night was incredible, and I'm just waiting for the right time to tell her. Hotel receipts, restaurant bills, a Tiffany's purchase from last month. I looked down at my hand, my thin gold band from 1982, my modest diamond from when we were young and broke. He'd bought her diamonds. Then I found the photos. Beautiful, long dark hair, young. I opened her Facebook profile. Vanessa Chen graduated from Northwestern University. I did the math based on her profile. 27 years old, the same age I was when I gave birth to Jessica, younger than my own daughter. At 63, I'd been replaced by someone young enough to be my granddaughter. I walked to the bathroom mirror, looked at myself. 63 years old, gray roots showing, wrinkles earned from 38 years of smiling at this man, a body that had carried his children. And apparently that wasn't enough. I'd quit my job at the library in 1984 when Jessica was born, moved for his career, Chicago, Dallas, Atlanta, back to Chicago, raised our children, hosted his business dinners, decorated every house we ever lived in. I'd given him 38 years, and the right time to tell me was Christmas morning. I walked back to the kitchen and threw the cinnamon rolls in the trash. All of them. Then I sat down at the kitchen table and began reading the divorce papers. Every word, every clause, every way my life was about to be dismantled. It was 9:47 a.m. By nightfall, I would be sitting on the bathroom floor with a bottle of sleeping pills. But I didn't know that yet. After reading through the divorce papers, I opened my laptop with shaking hands. I needed to see our bank accounts. I logged into our joint checking account. Balance, $347.82. That couldn't be right. We'd had over $8,000 in there just 2 months ago. I checked the transaction history. He'd been draining it, systematically, for months. Transfer to Tom's personal account, $3,000, $2,500, $2,000. I tried to access our savings account, the one we'd been building for 38 years. Access denied, account holder only. My name had been removed. I called the bank, waited on hold for 12 minutes while Christmas music played. Mrs. Mitchell. Yes, I see here that Mr. Mitchell removed you as a joint account holder several weeks ago. He has sole access now. But that's my money, too. We built that together. I understand, ma'am, but legally he has the right to manage his own accounts. You'll need to work this out through your divorce attorney. Divorce attorney? I didn't have a divorce attorney. I didn't even know how to get a divorce attorney. I checked our credit cards next. All three were maxed out. $47,000 in debt. Charges from restaurants I'd never been to. Hotels I'd never stayed in. That Tiffany's purchase, $12,000. I looked at the dates, every business trip, every late night at the office. Every time he said he was meeting clients. He was with her, and I was paying for it. Literally, my name was on these cards too. I thought about my own finances. What did I actually have? A joint checking account with $347, no access to savings, no job, I hadn't worked since 1984, no recent work experience, no professional network, a dusty college degree from 1981. I was 63 years old, and I had nothing. My phone started buzzing, texts pouring in. Tom's sister, Karen. Linda, I'm so sorry to hear this. Tom said you two just grew apart. Is there anything I can do? Grew apart, that's what he told them. My sister Beth, I'm calling you right now. Don't move. Church friend Mindy. Linda, I just saw your message. What happened? You and Tom seemed so happy at the Christmas potluck last week. Tom's brother. Sorry it didn't work out. You two had a good run, like we were a TV show that got canceled. Then the group text started. His family, my family, church members, friends from our old neighborhood. Everyone asking questions, everyone with opinions. Tom's mother, 93 years old, texting in all caps. Linda, what did you do to my son? What did I do? I turned off my phone. Couldn't handle it. But then I made the mistake of opening Facebook. Tom had already changed his relationship status. Tom Mitchell is now single. Posted 1 hour ago. 47 people had liked it, including Vanessa Chen. I clicked on her profile. It was public, and her latest post was from this morning. A photo of champagne glasses and Christmas decorations. Best Christmas ever. She'd tagged Tom. There were comments, so many comments. You two are so cute together. Finally, Tom deserves to be happy. Age is just a number. Love this. I slammed the laptop shut. I walked to the Christmas tree and unplugged it. The lights went dark. Then I took every present from under the tree. Half of them were for Tom and shoved them in the hall closet. The house felt like a mausoleum. I sat on the couch in the dark living room and realized everyone knew. Everyone knew my husband left me. Everyone knew about the affair. Everyone knew I'd been replaced. How do you show your face at church again? How do you walk into the grocery store? How do you exist in a town where everyone watched your marriage fall apart? At 63, I wasn't just losing my husband. I was losing my entire identity. I was Tom's wife. That's who I'd been for 38 years. Who was I now? By evening, the house was completely dark. I'd opened a bottle of wine at 6. Not a nice wine, the cheap kind we kept in the back of the pantry for cooking. I poured it into a coffee mug, didn't even bother with a wine glass. What was the point? I sat at the kitchen table and drank. One mug, then another. The bottle was empty by 7. I opened another one. I wasn't a drinker. I'd had wine at Jessica's wedding, champagne on New Year's. That was it. But tonight I wanted to disappear. I thought about my life. Really thought about it. What did I have to show for 63 years? 2 kids who lived far away, a granddaughter I'd see maybe 4 times a year now, an empty house that wasn't even in my name, no career, no savings, no purpose. I'd spent 38 years supporting someone else's dreams, and he'd thrown me away like trash. At 63, who would want me? I was too old to start over, too old to date again, too old for the job market, too old to matter. I stood up, stumbled actually, and walked to the bathroom, opened the medicine cabinet. There was a bottle of sleeping pills from when I'd had insomnia last year. 30 pills. I'd only used 5. I took the bottle out, sat down on the bathroom floor back against the tub, held the bottle in one hand, my wedding ring in the other. I'd taken it off earlier, thrown it across the room. But then I'd picked it up. Couldn't let it go. 38 years on my finger. I looked at the pills. I wasn't sure if I was going to take them. I just needed to know I had an option, that if this pain became unbearable, I could make it stop. God, I said out loud. First real prayer I'd prayed in months. If you're there, I don't understand why this happened. My voice was slurred from the wine. I was a good wife. I went to church every Sunday. I raised my kids right. I tried to be a good person. The bathroom was silent except for my breathing. And this is what I get? Replaced by a child? Left with nothing at 63? No answer. Where were you this morning, God? Where were you when my husband handed me those papers? Where were you when he walked out? Still nothing. I don't know if you're real. I don't know if you care. I don't know if you even see me. I opened the pill bottle, poured some into my hand. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to hurt like this. I sat there on the cold bathroom floor, alone, drunk, holding pills, ready to give up. A knock at the door, I ignored it. Another knock, louder. Linda? It's Carol from next door. Carol, I'd lived next to her for 4 years. We'd waved, said hello, nothing more. Linda, I saw your lights are off. I need to check on you, please. Something in her voice, urgent, desperate even. Please open the door. I looked at myself in the dark bathroom mirror. Mascara streaked down my face, hair a mess, wine drunk, pills in my fist. I couldn't let anyone see me like this. But Carol knocked again. Linda, I'm not leaving. I'll stand here all night if I have to. Why wouldn't she just go away? But something made me stand up. Something made me walk to the door. Something made me open it. Carol stood there in her coat and pajamas. Her eyes went wide when she saw me. Oh, honey, she said softly. And then she stepped inside, closed the door behind her, and wrapped her arms around me. I collapsed into her, sobbed into her shoulder. This woman I barely knew, this stranger who'd knocked on my door on Christmas night, this person who somehow knew I needed help. I've got you, she whispered. I've got you. We stood there in my dark hallway for a long time. Finally, she pulled back and looked at me. Let's make some tea, she said, and then you're going to tell me everything. Carol walked me to the kitchen and sat me down at the table like I was a child. She found the tea bags, filled the kettle, turned on the light over the sink, not the harsh overhead lights, just enough to see. She took the wine bottle from the table and poured it down the sink. Didn't say a word about it, just did it. Then she sat down across from me and waited for the water to boil. How did you know? I finally asked. Know what? That I needed help. Carol was quiet for a moment. I was putting my kids to bed an hour ago. 8 and 10 years old. They were so excited about Christmas, talking about their presents, asking if they could have hot chocolate before bed. She smiled at the memory, then her face got serious. And out of nowhere, I had this overwhelming feeling that I needed to check on you. Like a voice in my head saying, go next door. Right now. A voice? I know how that sounds. But it was so strong, Linda. I told my husband, I think Linda needs help. He said I was being paranoid, that you probably just wanted privacy, but I couldn't shake it. The kettle whistled. She got up, made 2 cups of tea. I looked out the window and saw your house completely dark. On Christmas night, and I just knew something was very wrong. She set the tea in front of me. So I came. You don't even know me. No, she said gently. But God does. Tell me what happened, Carol said, and I did, all of it. The divorce papers on Christmas morning, Vanessa, the drained bank accounts, 38 years gone. The words poured out of me in a rush. Carol didn't interrupt, didn't gasp, didn't offer platitudes. She just listened. When I got to the part about the pills, her hand reached across the table and squeezed mine. I wasn't going to take them, I said quickly. I don't think. I needed to know I had a way out if the pain became too much. I understand, Carol said, and something in her voice told me she really did. You do? She nodded. Can I tell you something I've never told another neighbor? I nodded. 12 years ago, I was married to someone else, not Dave, a man named Rick. She took a breath. He was abusive. Not physically, well, not at first, but emotionally. He tore me down every single day, told me I was worthless, stupid. Lucky he even stayed with me. I stared at her. Carol, with her perfect house and her sweet kids and her seemingly perfect life. One night he came home drunk and beat me so badly I ended up in the hospital. Broken ribs, fractured jaw. I was 28 years old. Carol, I left him after that, moved back in with my parents with nothing but a suitcase, filed for divorce, and then I found out I was pregnant. She wrapped her hands around her tea mug. I was working at Target, living in my childhood bedroom, pregnant by an abusive man I'd just left, and I thought about ending it. All of it. What stopped you? A woman at Target. A customer I'd helped 100 times. She came through my line and she said, "Are you okay? You look like you're carrying the weight of the world." Carol's eyes filled with tears, and I just broke down right there at the register, told her everything, and she said, "Honey, I don't know you, but I know God sees you, and He has a plan for you that's bigger than this pain." Did you believe her? No, Carol laughed. I thought she was crazy. But she wrote down her church address and said, "If you ever need a family, we're here." Did you go? Not for 6 months, but when my daughter was born, Emily, my oldest, I was alone in that hospital room holding her, and I realized I can't do this by myself. She looked at me, so I went to that church. And they didn't judge me, didn't lecture me, they just showed up, brought meals, helped with diapers, loved me when I couldn't love myself. And that's where you found God? That's where I found Jesus, she corrected gently. Not religion. Not rules. A relationship with the one who knew exactly what I was going through. Linda, can I ask you something? I nodded. Do you know what it means to have a relationship with Jesus? Not just going to church, but actually knowing Him? I bristled. I've been going to church for almost 70 years. I know about Jesus. Knowing about Him and knowing Him are different, she said. I'd heard that somewhere before, a sermon maybe, but it had never landed. What's the difference? I can know about the president, Carol said, read articles. Watch him on TV, but I don't know him. I've never met him. We don't have a relationship. She leaned forward. For years I went to church because that's what you did. Christmas, Easter, looked good on the outside, but inside I was empty. I was performing, checking boxes. That's what it feels like, I whispered. Empty. Jesus doesn't want your performance, Linda. He wants you, all of you, the broken parts, the angry parts, the parts sitting on the bathroom floor ready to give up. Why would he want that? Because he knows what it's like. What do you mean? Carol's voice got soft. Jesus was betrayed by someone he loved. Judas kissed him and sold him out for money. So he knows betrayal. I felt tears starting. He was abandoned by his closest friends when he needed them most. So he knows loneliness. On the cross, he cried out, "My God, why have you forsaken me?" So he knows what it's like when everything falls apart and God feels far away. She reached across and took both my hands. Linda, Jesus doesn't stand far off judging you for being broken. He came close. He entered into suffering. He knows your pain, and he doesn't waste it. What do you mean he doesn't waste it? He redeems it. He transforms it. He takes the worst things that happen to us, and somehow, I don't understand how, he brings beauty from ashes. I shook my head. I don't see how anything beautiful comes from this. You don't have to see it yet. You just have to trust him. I don't know if I can. Linda, 2 hours ago, you were sitting on your bathroom floor with a bottle of pills, ready to end your life. And now you're sitting here, talking to someone who knows exactly what that feels like, who came to your door because God sent her. She squeezed my hands. That's not a coincidence. That's God showing up. What do I do? I asked. How do I know him? You talk to him. Honestly. No religious words, no performance, just you and him. I don't know what to say. Tell him the truth. Tell him you're broken. Tell him you need him. Tell him you can't do this alone. I looked at this woman I barely knew, this stranger who felt like an angel. Will you pray with me? Yes, she said, but you have to talk to him too. He wants to hear your voice. My hands were shaking. I don't know how. Just talk, like you're talking to me. I closed my eyes. It felt awkward, vulnerable. Jesus, I started, my voice cracked. I don't know if you're listening. I don't know if you care, but Carol says you are, so... I took a breath. I'm broken. My husband left me. My life fell apart. I don't know how to survive this. Tears were streaming down my face. And 2 hours ago, I wanted to die. But Carol knocked on my door, and she said you sent her. I opened my eyes and looked at Carol. She nodded, encouraging me. If that's true, if you really see me, I need you. I can't do this alone. I don't want to do this alone. Carol's voice joined mine. Jesus, Linda is yours now. Catch her. Hold her. Don't let her go. I don't understand everything, I continued, but Carol says you can give me a new life. And I'll take it, because this one just ended. We sat there in silence for a long moment. Then Carol whispered, "Now you're his, Linda." And he never lets go. Something shifted inside me. I can't explain it. But the weight pressing on my chest, the crushing hopelessness, it lifted. Just a little. Not gone, but lighter. Like maybe, just maybe I could breathe again. Sunday morning, Carol knocked on my door at 9:15 a.m. Ready? I wasn't. I'd barely slept, hadn't showered, looked terrible. I can't go to church like this. Good. Come as you are. Not my church. I couldn't face those people yet. Carol's church. Small, unfamiliar, safe. We walked in late. Everyone was standing, singing. I slipped into the back row, trying to be invisible. The pastor was young, maybe 40, casual. Started his sermon with, "Turn to John chapter 4. The woman at the well." I knew this story. Everyone knew this story. But today I heard it differently. This woman had 5 husbands, the pastor said. 5. And the guy she was living with now wasn't even her husband. The whole town knew. She came to the well at noon, the hottest part of the day, to avoid running into anyone. I felt Carol glance at me. She was hiding. Ashamed, certain that if anyone really knew her story, they'd reject her. My throat tightened. And Jesus, who could have gone anywhere, talked to anyone, sought her out, waited at that well specifically to meet her. And he didn't condemn her. He offered her living water. The pastor closed his Bible. If you're here today and you feel disqualified because of your past, because of what someone did to you, because of the mistakes you've made, let me tell you, Jesus is waiting at your well, not to shame you, to save you. I sobbed through the entire rest of the sermon. After service, 3 women I'd never met surrounded me. "You're Carol's friend," one said, not a question. I nodded. "I'm Ruth. Divorced 7 years ago. Husband left me for his assistant. I'm Diane. My ex emptied our accounts and disappeared. I'm Paula. Married 32 years before he announced he was gay and left. They weren't offering pity. They were offering membership to a club I never wanted to join. You will survive this," Ruth said. "I promise. And one day, I know it doesn't feel like it now, you'll help someone else survive it." That first week after Christmas was a blur. Carol brought dinner Monday night. Ruth called Tuesday with her lawyer's name. Diane reviewed my documents Wednesday. "Linda, he violated Illinois law draining those accounts. We're filing." Paula arrived Thursday. "My company is hiring. Administrative assistant, $22 an hour. I haven't worked since 1984. You managed a household for 38 years. That's project management. We just need to translate it." I interviewed on Friday, got the offer on Monday. 2 weeks after Christmas, I was employed for the first time in decades, but I was still living in that house. Our house. His house, technically. My lawyer discovered it was only in his name. Everything was. Every room held memories. The kitchen where he'd handed me divorce papers. The bedroom we'd shared. The family photos still on the walls. About a month after I started working, I couldn't take it anymore. "I need to move," I told Ruth. "I can't heal here." "Then let's find you a place." We found a tiny 1-bedroom apartment. I could barely afford it on my salary, but it was mine. The church women showed up with trucks and boxes the following week. They helped me pack only what I loved, leave everything that reminded me of him. Standing in the empty house for the last time, Carol hugged me. "This isn't your home anymore, but you're going to build a new one." My first paycheck came 2 weeks after I started, $748 after taxes. I stared at it, my own money, my own name on the check. "Linda Mitchell, not Mrs. Tom Mitchell." I took myself to lunch. Just me. Panera, soup and sandwich. $12. It was the best meal I'd had in months. A few weeks later, settled into my new apartment, I went to Carol's women's Bible study. Broken and Beautiful, they called it. 8 women, all recovering from something. We were studying the story of Joseph, sold into slavery by his brothers, falsely accused, imprisoned for years. "But look at what Joseph says at the end," the leader said. Genesis 50:20. "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good." She looked around the room. God doesn't cause the harm, but he uses it. He redeems it. Nothing is wasted in his hands. I thought about Christmas morning, the worst day of my life. Could God really bring good from that? I wasn't sure yet, but I wanted to believe it. The divorce was finalized 3 months after Christmas. Tom married Vanessa a month later. I saw the photos on Facebook. Against my better judgment, I looked. She was already showing, pregnant. The baby would be born that summer. My first reaction was rage, pure, white-hot rage. He got to start over. New wife, new baby, clean slate. And I got, what? An empty apartment and a part-time job at 63? But then Ruth said something at Bible study that stuck with me. Forgiveness isn't saying what they did was okay. It's releasing them from the debt they owe you so you can be free. "I don't want to forgive him," I said. "Good. That's honest. Start there." So I did. I prayed, awkwardly, angrily at first, asking God to help me forgive Tom. I deleted him from Facebook, stopped checking his profile. I stopped talking about him constantly, stopped making him the center of every conversation. It took months, but one day, about 6 months in, I realized I'd gone a whole week without thinking about him. Not because I'd forgotten, but because I'd released him. He was no longer taking up space in my head. That's when I knew I was healing. About 7 months after that Christmas, Jessica came to visit my new apartment. 5 months in this little 1-bedroom now. I decorated it exactly how I wanted. Bright colors, plants, art on the walls. Nothing looked like the house I'd shared with Tom. Jessica walked in and stopped, looked around. "Mom, this is beautiful." You sound surprised. I expected you to be. She trailed off. Falling apart? Yeah. I poured us iced tea and we sat on my little balcony. You're different, Jessica said. I can't put my finger on it. But you're lighter, like a weight came off. It did. You're not angry anymore. Oh, I still get angry sometimes. But it doesn't control me like it did. She was quiet for a moment. Mom, can I ask you something? Do you regret the 38 years? Do you feel like you wasted them? I thought about it, really thought about it. Sometimes, I said honestly, but those years gave me you and Michael. They gave me Emma, and they taught me I'm stronger than I thought. Are you happy now? I looked at my daughter, really looked at her. I'm becoming happy. For the first time in a long time, I'm discovering who I am outside of being someone's wife. And yeah, I think I actually like her. Jessica's eyes filled with tears. I'm proud of you, Mom. Those 5 words meant more than she could ever know. Ruth, one of my fellow broken and beautiful women, called me about 9 months after that Christmas. Linda, I have a favor to ask. Anything. There's a new woman at church. Husband just left her. She's 61. Devastated. Will you talk to her? My heart stopped. 9 months ago, I was that woman. Of course. Her name was Margaret. She came to my apartment on a Tuesday evening. She sat on my couch, tissue in hand, mascara running. I don't know how to survive this, she whispered. I sat down next to her and took her hand. I know exactly how you feel. 9 months ago, my husband handed me divorce papers on Christmas morning. Her head snapped up. You? Me. But you seem so together. I wasn't. I sat on my bathroom floor with a bottle of pills 9 months ago, ready to give up. What changed? A neighbor knocked on my door, and she told me something I'm going to tell you now. I squeezed her hand. You will survive this. I know it feels impossible, but God doesn't waste pain. He redeems it. And one day, I promise, you'll be sitting where I am, telling someone else they're going to make it. She looked at me with desperate hope. Really? Really, I promise. And for the first time since Christmas, I knew my pain had purpose. 2 years after that Christmas, I was setting up chairs in the church basement for broken and beautiful Bible study when Ruth arrived early. How many are we expecting tonight? She asked. 12. We added 3 new women this month. Ruth smiled. Remember when you were the new woman? 2 years ago. Feels like a lifetime. She hugged me. Look at you now. Leading this thing, I'd taken over the study from Carol earlier that year when she moved out of state. Pass the torch, she called it. Every Thursday night, women showed up. Divorce, widowhood, abuse, betrayal, loneliness, all of them broken in different ways, all of them finding healing in the same place. Tonight's topic, forgiveness. Open your Bibles to Matthew 18, I began once everyone arrived, the parable of the unmerciful servant. We read together, discussed, shared. Then Margaret, the woman Ruth had asked me to mentor 2 years ago, spoke up. Linda, can I ask you something personal? Of course. Do you ever think about Tom? Wonder if you made the right choice to forgive him. The room got quiet. Everyone knew my story. I think about him sometimes, I said honestly, but not with bitterness anymore. Mostly I just feel sad. Sad for what he threw away. Sad for the life he's living now. You heard about his second divorce? Someone asked. I nodded. Just recently. Vanessa had left him just a few weeks earlier. Jessica told me. I hadn't asked, but she thought I should know. She took the baby and moved back in with her parents. Jessica said over the phone. Filed for divorce. Claimed he was emotionally abusive. How's your father? Honestly, Mom? Broken. He's living in a studio apartment. Lost most of his savings in the settlement. He looks old. I felt a pang. Not satisfaction. Just sadness. He called me last week, Jessica continued. Asked about you. Asked if you were seeing anyone. What did you tell him? I told him you're happy, that you're leading a Bible study, that you're living your best life, and that he made his choice. There was a pause. He cried, Mom. Said he made the biggest mistake of his life, asked if you'd ever consider talking to him. My heart didn't race, didn't leap, didn't ache. I'd released him 2 years ago. Jess, your father needs to heal, needs to find God, needs to figure out who he is apart from whoever he's with. But that's his journey now, not mine. So that's a no? That's a no. I'd meant my vows, for better or worse, till death do us part. But he'd killed our marriage, and I'd buried it. There was no resurrection for what was already in the ground. Christmas Eve, 2 years after the worst Christmas of my life. 2 years ago, I'd been suicidal on my bathroom floor. Tonight, my apartment was full of life. 12 women from the Bible study had nowhere else to go for Christmas, so I invited them. We cooked together, laughed together, shared stories. Carol video called from Arizona. Look at you, Linda. You're glowing. Margaret helped me set the table. 2 years ago, I wanted to die. Now I'm setting a table with women who saved my life. God saved your life, I corrected gently. We were just his hands. Paula led us in prayer before dinner. Jesus, thank you for this family, not related by blood, but bound by something stronger, your love. Thank you for taking our broken pieces and making something beautiful. Amen. We ate, we laughed, we talked about the worst Christmases we'd survived, and then we talked about this one, the best one yet. After everyone left, I sat alone in my apartment, Christmas lights twinkling on my tree, the one I'd decorated exactly how I wanted, no compromise, no one to please but myself and God. I pulled out my journal, something Carol had encouraged me to start 2 years ago, and I started to write. 2 years ago tonight, I was ready to die. Today, I hosted Christmas for 12 women who needed a family. 2 years ago, I thought my life was over. Today, I know it was just beginning. I thought about what people had asked me over the past year. Do you regret the 38 years with Tom? Would you go back and change it if you could? The answer surprised people. Number. Not because the pain wasn't real, it was excruciating. Not because betrayal is okay, it's sin and it's devastating, but because I would never have met Jesus the way I did if everything hadn't fallen apart. I was religious but not redeemed. I went to church but didn't know God. I performed but never rested in grace. I needed to be broken before I could be healed. I needed to lose everything to find what actually mattered. That Christmas morning 2 years ago, I thought my life ended. It didn't end, it began. God turned my worst day into my salvation, and I've never been more grateful. It's been 4 years since Tom handed me divorce papers on Christmas morning. I'm 67 years old now. He's 69, still single after his second divorce. Jessica says he's in therapy, finally dealing with whatever brokenness drove him to destroy 2 families. I pray for him sometimes, not because I want him back, because I want him to find what I found. Jesus. Real Jesus, not Sunday morning Jesus, the one who meets you in your worst moment and says, I've got you. As for me, I'm still working part-time at the accounting firm, still leading Broken and Beautiful every Thursday night, still living in my little one-bedroom apartment decorated exactly how I like it. Jessica and Marcus are doing well. Emma is 11 now, starting middle school. She stayed with me last weekend and asked, Grandma, were you really sad when Grandpa left? Yes, honey. The saddest I've ever been. But you're happy now? I'm happy now. Good. I like you happy. Michael came home from Germany a couple of years ago. He's stationed in Virginia now, visits when he can. He told me recently, Mom, you're different, stronger. I'm proud of you. Coming from my son, my quiet military son who doesn't say feelings often, that meant everything. People ask me, do you regret the 38 years? Do you wish you'd left sooner? Here's the truth. I can't regret the years that gave me my children, but I also can't regret the breaking that brought me to Jesus. At 63, I thought my life was over. At 67, I know I'm living the most authentic years of my life. I'm not Tom's wife anymore. I'm not defined by his choices or his betrayal. I'm Linda, beloved daughter of God, survivor, overcomer, woman of faith. And if you're reading this, if someone just betrayed you, if you're sitting alone on the worst day of your life, wondering how you'll survive, let me tell you what I've learned. You're never too old to start over. You're never too broken to be healed. You're never too invisible for God to see. That knock on your door might come from an unexpected place. A neighbor, a friend, a stranger, a still small voice in your heart. But God will show up. He showed up for me on my bathroom floor with a bottle of pills. He'll show up for you too. All you have to do is open the door. Merry Christmas. And remember, your worst day might just be the day your real life begins.